the voice. In the first 3 videos earlier, we have studied about changing active voice into passive voice of present tense, past tense and future tense. In this particular video, we are going to study about how to change active into passive of the sentences having modal auxiliary. Now, before studying how to change active into passive of the sentence having modal auxiliary, it is very important we must know what are the modal auxiliaries. In English, we have 13 modal auxiliaries, and all these modal auxiliaries indicate attitude or mood of the speaker. For example, see these two examples. I can speak English. Second example, I can swim. Now in these two sentences we have the use of modal auxiliary, and that is can. Now what does it indicate? See, first sentence, I can speak English. Here it indicates the ability of the speaker to speak in English. Can is person is able to speak in English. Or see the second sentence, I can swim. Here again we have can, this modal auxiliary, and it indicates ability of the speaker. And in English we have 13 modal auxiliaries like this. For example, can, could, may, might, must, shall, will, ought to, need, should, used to, would. These are the modal auxiliaries in English. Now today in this video we have to study how to change active into passive from these sentences having modal auxiliary. Now here once again I will write one sentence. Okay, now I have written this particular sentence on the blackboard. I may buy a computer. Now here in this sentence, may, this modal auxiliary is used. And what is the structure of this particular sentence? Here I is subject, then may is modal auxiliary, then buy is verb, and a computer is object. Okay, so we got the structure of the sentence having modal auxiliary like subject plus modal auxiliary plus verb plus object, and this particular sentence is of active voice. Now we have to turn this active voice having modal auxiliary into passive voice. And what is the structure of now passive voice? See, we have to begin sentence with object. We have to begin sentence with object. Then we have to use modal auxiliary. Then we have to use be. Then we have to use V3, third form of the verb, then by, and last one is subject. So here we got the structure of passive voice of the sentence having modal auxiliary. And now we have to write the same sentence object. May is modal auxiliary. Then we have used, as we have to change the sentence into passive, we use be. Then third form of the verb V3, by plus me. So this is how we have to change the sentence having modal auxiliary into passive voice. Once again, student, here I want to revise. Here I want to repeat the structure of sentence having modal auxiliary from the active voice. Here we have subject, then modal auxiliary, then verb, object, and the structure of passive of the sentence having modal auxiliary is object plus modal auxiliary plus be plus V3 plus by plus subject. So in this way we can change active into passive of the sentence having modal auxiliary. Now take one more example. Guests might play chess. Now here first we have to identify structure of the sentence. Here guest is subject, might is modal auxiliary, then play is the main verb and chess is the object. So here we get subject, modal auxiliary, verb and then object. Now we have to turn this sentence into passive. As we have to turn this sentence into passive, first we have to begin our sentence with object. So we begin our sentence with object, that is chess. Then we have to use modal auxiliary used in the sentence, might. Then we have to use be. Then we have to use third form of the verb, that is play, then by, and at the end we have to use subject. So our sentence is like this: chess might be played by guests. So this is how we have to change active into passive of the sentences having modal auxiliary. Now we turn towards the next, that is imperative sentence. Again, before studying how to change active into passive of imperative sentence, it is important to know what is meant by imperative sentence. Now students, imperative sentence in Marathi, आज्ञार्थी वाक्य. Here a sentence in which we have given a kind of order. That sentence is called as imperative sentence. For example, here I have written the sentence, complete the homework. Now here complete is verb and homework is object. And if you remember, when we studied tense, at that time we have studied the structure of tense. The structure of sentence in English is subject plus verb plus object. Here we got verb and object. What about subject? Here in imperative sentence, subject is also there, but while speaking, this particular subject is not pronounced, and so our sentence of imperative begin with verb, complete. This is a verb, complete the homework. Complete is verb. And so here teacher has or parents has given order to their students or to their sentence with let. Then object. Then we have to use be, and then we have to use third form of the verb, or we can call it as past participle, and now our sentence will be like this. We begin our sentence with let, then the homework is object, then we use be, then V3 or third form of the verb, that is completed, and sentence will be like this: let the homework be completed. This is the structure of changing active into passive of imperative sentence. We will take one more example so that you will understand it in a better way. Help the poor. Help is the verb and the poor is an object, and this is imperative sentence. Now we have to change this imperative sentence into passive voice. So we begin our sentence with let. Let the poor be helped. This is the passive voice of imperative sentence, help the poor. So here once again I recall all the rules related to imperative sentence. The structure of imperative sentence is verb, then object, and subject is hidden in that particular sentence. Imperative sentence always begin with verb. Now, while changing that particular imperative sentence into passive, we have to begin our sentence with let. Then we have to use object from the sentence. Then use be. Then third form of the verb, that is V3 or past participle of the verb. And in this way, we can change that particular sentence from active to passive. Now we have to study how to change the voice of interrogative sentence. Now, what is mean by interrogative sentence? Again, first of all, we have to understand meaning of interrogative sentence. It is very easy. Interrogative sentence means a sentence in which question is asked. For example, here I have written two sentences on the blackboard. See, do you like poem? At the end of the sentence we have question mark. passive voice we have to begin our sentence with a form of be. Then we have to use object from the sentence. Then we have to use V3, or we can call it as past participle of the verb. Then we have to use by, then subject, and at the end question mark. Now we have to turn the same sentence into passive voice. Now here we have to first use a form of be, and form of to be we have to use. What are the to be's form? In present tense we have am, is, are. Then in past tense we have was, were, and in future tense we have shall or will. Now here first we have to identify the tense. Now does, and we use does or do in present tense. So here we have to use that helping verb which is used in present tense, and in present tense we use are, this particular helping verb. Now why are? Because now we have to use object from the sentence, the poems, and that's why here we use are the poems. Then we have to use V3, read, are the poems read by her. This can be passive voice of the sentence or of the question which begins with helping verb. We will take one more example. Does he tell a story? Now, when we have to turn this active into passive, we have to begin our sentence with a form of be. A form of to be we have to use. Then we have to use object from the sentence. Then we have to use V3 or third form of the verb. Then we have to use by, then subject, and at the end we have to use question mark. A form of to be, then object V3 by plus subject plus question mark. And here in this sentence, does is helping verb, he is subject, tell is the verb, and story is an object. Now we have to begin our sentence with object. But before that we have to use the form of to be. And here we have to use is, because does means again it is present tense. Is a story is a story told by him. This can be passive voice of active voice of the sentence. Begins or question begins with helping verb. So here once again rules of changing active into passive of the sentence begin with helping verb. First we have to use a form of to be. Then we have to use object from the sentence. After that we have to use third form of the verb, or we can call it past participle of the verb. Then by, then subject, and at the end we have to give question mark. So these are the rules of changing active into passive of interrogative sentence. Now we turn towards the next. As I have told you, we have two types of questions. First one, a question voice of question begins with WH word. Now here we will take one example, and with the help of example we will understand how to change the voice of WH word. Here we have some rules of changing active into passive. We will take one example. See, I have written sentence. Who gave this book to you? Now here sentence book begin with WH word. That is who. Then here verb. Then this is object. Okay. Now we have to turn this active voice into passive voice. Before that, we must know what are the rules of changing active into passive. त्यासाठी विद्यार्थी मित्रांनो आपल्याला ह्याचे नियम माहिती असले पाहिजेत की WH क्वेश्चन जर असेल तर त्या वाक्याचं ऍक्टिव्ह मध्ये रूपांतर पॅसिव्ह मध्ये कसं करायचंय. तर त्याचा पहिला नियम आहे की पॅसिव्ह करत असताना त्याच WH वर्डने काय करायचे सुरुवात करायची. बिगिन युअर पॅसिव्ह व्हॉइस विथ द सेम WH वर्ड. When your question begins with who, then you have to begin your passive voice with by whom. Who ने जर प्रश्नाची सुरुवात झाली असेल तर passive voice करताना passive ची सुरुवात by whom ने तुम्हाला करावी लागणार आहे. Then next प्रश्नार्थक शब्दानंतर योग्य ते to be चे रूप तुम्हाला वापरायचे आहे. You have to use the correct form of to be according to the tense of the sentence. त्या वाक्याच्या काळानुसार तुम्हाला योग्य तो सहाय्यकारी क्रियापद वापरायचे. So first you have to identify the tense. तुम्हाला इथे तर tense ओळखावा लागणार आहे. Gave. Now this is the verb and generally from the verb we can identify the tense. क्रियापदावरून वाक्यामध्ये जे क्रियापद आहे त्या क्रियापदावरून आपल्याला काळ ओळखता येतो. हे क्रियापद आहे gave. Gave हे give या क्रियापदाचा सेकंड फॉर्म आहे. मूळ क्रियापद कुठला आहे give आणि त्याचं हे सेकंड फॉर्म आहे gave. ओके. सेकंड फॉर्म म्हणजे हा झाला past tense. मग past tense जर असेल तर in past tense which helping verb we have to use. past tense मध्ये आपण कोणतं सहाय्यकारी क्रियापद वापरतो तर was किंवा were. या ठिकाणी by whom was. Okay, then we have to use object. आता आपल्याला या वाक्यामध्ये ऑब्जेक्ट लिहायचं आहे. वाक्यामध्ये ऑब्जेक्ट आहे this book. ओके, आपण या वाक्यामध्ये ऑब्जेक्ट वापरलेला आहे. ऑब्जेक्ट नंतर आपल्याला काय करायचं आहे we have to use third form of the verb. क्रियापदाचं तिसरं रूप वापरायचं. क्रियापद आहे gave. Third form of the verb give is given. Third form of the verb is given, and then we have to use remaining sentence to you and then question mark. Now our sentence will be like this. By whom was this book given to you? Okay, so now here we begin our passive voice with the same WH word, which said question begins with that particular word. Then we have to use helping verb according to the tense of that particular sentence. Then we use object, then V3 and last remaining sentence and question mark. So this is how we have to turn active into passive of a question which begins with WH word. We will take one more example so that you will understand in a better way. we have written sentence, what did she eat? Now we have to begin our sentence with same WH word. So we begin our sentence, our passive voice with the same WH word. ज्या प्रश्नार्थक शब्दाने त्या प्रश्नाची सुरुवात झाली आहे त्याच शब्दाने आपल्याला पॅसिव्ह व्हॉइसची सुरुवात करायची आहे. सो व्हॉट, देन नेक्स्ट वी हॅव टू यूज हेल्पिंग वर्ब अकॉर्डिंग टू द टेक्स्ट. आपल्याला आता सहाय्यकारी क्रियापद वापरायचं आहे काळानुसार. मग इथे डीड म्हणजे हा आहे पास्ट टेन्स. मग आपल्याला या ठिकाणी पास्ट टेन्स मधलं सहाय्यकारी क्रियापद was किंवा were. She means it is singular pronoun. That's why here we have to use was. What was, then third form of the verb, eaten. By her, then question mark. Our sentence will be like this: what was eaten by her? So this is how we have to change active into passive of the sentence having modal auxiliary of the sentence imperative sentence or interrogative sentence. For turning active into passive, again I repeat, you have to practice lot. So practice at least 5 sentences of each type. You will be able